Welcome to my latest Zoomcast. PGA golf professional John Abendroth here, and both of these people I'll introduce in a moment have been to Original Joe's of Westlake, and they're our sponsor, and they've been, I think, one of the leaders in to-go meals during our COVID shutdown, and they're doing a great job, and we enjoy them, and they've been great for the community, hospitals and churches and all that. So let me introduce Dede Moriarty, our president of the Northern California PGA. Hello, Dede. How are you?
John, how are you? Good to see you.
I'm doing good. Yeah, thanks for having some time. And bracketed by many awards is Len Dumas, our executive director of the PGA of Northern California. Len, thanks so much for being our leader, and thanks for a little time this afternoon.
Well, John, it's great to be with you. Dede, hi, good to see you again. And John, thank you as we broadcast from our international headquarters here in Vacaville.
With a great looking conference table. That's an inside joke. Well, you guys have probably already seen each other today on a Zoom call. You've been so busy. And as we tape this, the Barracuda Championship is going to be happening up in Truckee. It's been held in Reno for a handful of years, but and we can talk about that a little bit more. But really, the PGA Championship, which remind me, Dede, it was renamed PGA 2020 a while ago, is next week, and it's the first major to be played in the COVID world. And all of you have done, both of you and many others have done lots and lots of volunteer work to get ready for this, and it's barreling right down the road on us.
It is. I told Mike this morning, I said the only other thing that could happen is the next big earthquake in the middle of the championship, but I think we'll get through it just fine.
And I think, you know, your story, you could almost write a book. You grew up, a long par 5 from the course.
Yeah.
You live a block further now from the course.
Yeah.
Migrated way north, and you grew up learning to play the game there.
Yeah. And
now you are the president of the PGA of Northern California. Susie Whaley is the national president. They talk about a Cinderella story. This is, you and I have been talking about this for 2 or 3 years. It's really an incredible story from, once you came to where we are.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm just so grateful that it's actually going to be played because, as you know, I mean, we didn't know till a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago for sure. So I just think it's going to be so great for the city and for the golfing community. And as you know, John, I mean, so many people that will take interest don't even play golf, but they may end up playing golf because of the championship in San Francisco. So really, really proud to have it here at our public golf course.
Yeah, and Len, as I look in your great looking office there, that Chris Thomas, the late Chris Thomas, who was your predecessor, and the late Ed Lee, the mayor of San Francisco, had an awful lot to do with this. I know Chris talked many times about how this was a huge goal of his to get this great championship in Northern California. Yeah. And now here you were a general manager, PGA golf professional at the time, and the president of our section. And now here you've been the main liaison with the national PGA and the local leadership group. So, boy, talk about living it.
Well, John, it's really amazing. When we talk about Mayor Lee and we talk about Chris, we're talking about champions, people making things happen. And that's true. When we hosted what's now the PGA Professional Championship, the PPC, in 2012 at Bayonet Black Horse, Chris and I were driving down and he said, "Hey, Len, I wonder how we get a PGA major in our section." And so pulled Kerry Haig aside at that time in 2012. And I'd like to think that was the start of it. And here we are. It was announced by President Bishop in 2014. We might remember in City Hall. But again, John, what a tremendous journey. And only in the game of golf can we accomplish some of the great things that are going on. And as Dede mentioned, it brings people together at a time like this when the world is upside down, and people are going to enjoy it. People are going to love it because it's the greatest game of all. So really grateful to be so involved.
You know, and I get a little teary-eyed when I think this way, but you know, I feel that Northern California has as strong a history and tradition of golf as anywhere in the country. And I feel that, you know, having this at Harding, which to me is like the mecca of golf in Northern California. I think it just turned 75 years old. And Dede, you know a lot of these people between Sandy Tatum and John
Yeah.
Fry and the other Fry family members and others that have been around. You know, the golf tournaments that are, you know, 100 years old at Lincoln
Yeah.
Park, and your husband's a city golf champion at Harding. And,
Yeah.
and this to me is also a great culmination of all these things. You know, the Olympic clubs held the U.S. Open, but now that we've got Ryder Cups coming and another PGA at Olympic, and so, you know, this is just, to me, is sort of the bow tie or the icing on the cake to really kind of fill the circle in, if you will.
No doubt about it. I mean, the city golf and the golf history at Harding Park is just amazing. You could write a book about that alone, really.
And with Ken Venturi's parents running the golf shop at Harding, it's a far cry from what it was at the time, and the driving range and all of that is so different. And Len, you mentioned before we, you know, hit the record button here that, you know, the field, you know, and the championships that have been played here, we all wonder before events, you know, who's going to win. But with Rory McIlroy winning the match play in 2015, a story that I think is going to be very cool, and I hope he plays, is John Daly. You know, he was ninth alternate years ago. I think in the early 90s, he ends up winning the PGA Championship as a ninth alternate. He goes on to win a British Open, and then in the 2-5 Amex Championship, he loses in, I think, the third or fourth hole of a fabulous playoff with a young Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
You know, and Tiger's played here in college. Just so many things. It's just incredible storylines.
Yeah, the field is amazing, John, no question. And as you know, everybody's headed for Old Greenwood on Thursday to start the Barracuda, and Cal Bear, right, defending champ Colin Morikawa is there and will be here next week. And the lineup, you know, we've got the top 10 players in the world coming to Harding Park next week, and just keeps getting better and better. So the talent is unbelievable. They're going to be playing just a little bit under 7,200 yards, and Harding Park is going to shine, and the city and county of San Francisco is going to shine. And born and raised in New York City and growing up to some extent playing Bethpage all the time, what a treat. What a treat to have been at Bethpage last year for the PGA, and got a chance to stop in and see Uncle Charlie, and then follow it up with PJ here at Harding Park the next year. So just great.
Yeah, and in my case, you know, I was at Harding for the Lucky International in the, you know, the mid-early 60s, watching, you know, the great players from the golden age of golf, and seeing Snead play there in the early 80s in the senior tournament that was held there. And so, you know, in one way it's sad that, you know, kids aren't going to be able to get out there and see these players in person, but, you know, there's going to be, I think, 100 hours of television. Golf Channel's put together some historical pieces that they're going to run during the week. And, you know, TV ratings, I think, are going to be wonderful. And the stories are going to be told. And there's a lot of aspects to the city with some of the charity work. And I know the PGA Hope, Dede, talk about, you know, the veterans are going to play in a competition. And I know you've been really passionately involved in that at, or ironically, Presidio Golf Club, you know, where you're a golf instructor, and that's been one of the places where you bring the veterans out. Now they got teams from around the country that are going to come. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, at first there were going to be teams from around the country, but what with the COVID, things changed a little bit. So the teams are going to be from the Bay Area, local teams.
Okay.
And we're really grateful that the Olympic Club still let everybody come because we didn't even know what was going to happen. But PGA Hope is such a wonderful program. I mean, CBS aired a special on PGA Hope the other day, which really tells the story beautifully on how the Hope program, it doesn't just create golfers, but it does, but it saves lives. And the connections that we make with the veterans and their connections with us really enriches life on both sides. So it's something that we can be proud of. And Northern California has been really to the fore on it. And I think is one of the sections in the country that delved into it really, really strongly. So, and I think the 17th hole at Harding is going to be the PGA Hope hole, which is pretty cool. So I think, Len, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that hole will be all Hope veterans that are going to be working that hole.
With all of that happening, and without the spectators, Len, talk a little bit about the other events. I know you mentioned the Barracuda. We got the Safeway. Obviously the AT&T, and Northern California has really become one of the real hotbeds of golf. And now each of the counties and cities is having to deal with this. And I know that, we've had our ups and downs of figuring out how this would all work for the city of San Francisco, where even like, I know you guys who will be on site have had to have a COVID test. And I know a number of the volunteers are going to have certain access for having them, and there'll be walking scores, there'll be other certain volunteers, but even the volunteer base has been very limited, but still a lot of folks involved behind the scenes.
Oh, John, unbelievable what's happening back there. And the number of credentials that have been issued is tremendously scaled down. And for the work that's involved, we have certainly, we have President Whaley, Susie Ann Sethwa, and back at HQ, David Charles and Kerry, of course, and then here locally, Barry Deach and the entire championship team here, Dan Dillon, Mayor Breed, of course, Mayor Breed, Phil Ginsburg for Parks and Rec Department, just on and on and on. And we know there've been a lot of late night oil burned to do everything we can to have the championship here at Harding Park. And it's happening. It's in a form that's different than anybody could have imagined, but that's happening all over the world. So we're really grateful for that, and all those people that we know. Some of the stories that we know, but there are a lot of stories that we don't know, for all the work that are bringing us together next week, in one of the greatest cities of the world, in San Francisco. So very, very exciting. As you mentioned, we've got the Barracuda going on this week. And then over the next, believe it or not, right, over the next 12 years, we've got the Women's Open next year at Olympic. We've got the President's Cup back in 25. We've got the PGA back in 28. And then I know when the numbers are getting large, I get that. And then in 32, we've got the Ryder Cup coming. So, California, John, as you mentioned, has got a tremendous history as a state. And we're so proud, to be part of this in Northern California and have this championship back. Because I believe the last time was 1997 at Pebble Beach. And before that was 95 in Riviera. So great to have the PGA back as well.
And Dede, I know you got involved a few months ago at Harding with a Steph Curry event, and now it's been announced that there'll be, it's projected or pretty much agreed to that I believe starting in 2021, there'll be a Steph Curry regular PGA Tour event at Harding, I believe in the fall, right around the time of the Safeway tournament, Johnny Miller's tournament up in Napa. So that'll be another fun one, Dede. So maybe that's the one when we'll get the galleries back out there.
Yeah, maybe we'll get to go see that one. When the Ryder Cup comes, we have a special dispensation for the three of us. We should be able to get some wheelchair access to the golf course. So
nice.
One of us will need it. One of us will need it. Well, listen, this has been great, and we're just, as a PGA member, I appreciate all the the time that both of you put in. I know we talk often, and we've had, great conference calls amongst our board and these co-op calls with Southern California, explaining a lot of things. And I got upset the other day because there was talk when baseball was starting up, the comment was something like, well, the first professional sports. I said, no, golf's been going for 6 weeks.
Yeah, that's right.
And we've pretty well got it figured out. Now it looks like, baseball's got some problems happening, but golf is lived pretty good so far with, I know a couple of people I know that work on the CBS production crew. They've been working from home and it's a whole different thing, but we're going to have Golf Channel, ESPN, CBS. And so there'll be lots and lots of golf happening on TV and other avenues. And I know I'm doing radio, I'm doing local TV, and so there'll be a lot of coverage of it. So anyway, so Dede, Moriarty, any last thoughts from you? I know we're going to do a little KNBR radio this weekend.
Yeah. No, John, I just want to thank you for all you do to keep everybody up to date with golf. It's really important. I know everybody enjoys seeing you and listening to you, and thanks for doing what you do, buddy.
Yep, exactly. And I was kidding with my granddaughter the other day that she said, your hair's getting long. And I said, I'm going to need you to a beauty parlor instead of a barber soon. So
Yeah, you better go before San Mateo closes down.
I know, exactly right. Len, and thanks for being a great leader. I mean, I know both of you, again, Dede, you've extended your time as a board member and the president because of a lot of shuffling that
Yeah.
partly because of the passing of Chris Thomas, and then Len, for you to jump in, and Bill Trojanowski, who was our president. Now he's the regional director for the local several sections. And so Len, great leadership. And I can just imagine what your dance card looks like, as I like to say.
Well, thanks, John. And as Dede said, thank you, because even, for all that we have served over the years, you've always included us and given us an opportunity to talk about the Northern California PGA and talk about our golf. And, here we are at the first major. Like I said, wow, first major. And I have to do a shout out to our 20 PGA club professionals that are coming to Harding Park next week. I mean, that's it. That's a ticket. And we look to be a great host to them. And Jeff Hart, who is our one club professional from Southern California, but we look forward to hosting them, getting to know them, and make sure when everybody leaves that they leave with what we set out to do to make it unforgettable, a memory for the ages.
And I'm sure there's some local players, the Nick Watneys of the world, that have played Harding and, the city championship and other things. And so a lot of great storylines, and we'll have to do this again after the championship and see how many of the right buttons we pushed. So great stuff there. Dede Moriarty, our president of the Northern Cal PGA, Len, executive director, thanks so much. And this has been great. So good luck out there this coming week. And again, appreciate your time. And this is John Abendroth, PGA golf professional. And you can catch this also on YouTube and a couple of the other podcasts we did. If you haven't seen my Gary Player interview, that was a lot of fun. And Jaime Diaz, who will be here for Golf Channel, and been a lot of fun. So thanks very much. Signing off, and we'll see you all on the course or down the line.
Okay. Thanks, Dede. Thanks, John.
Thanks, Len. Thanks, John.
Yeah.